morning.
Morning.
Thank you and welcome. This is quite a stirring performance by pipes by Brian Becker. Brian is the pipe major for the Riverview High School Kilty Band, and this is certainly a great way to start this wonderful ribbon cutting service. Thank you so much. I think most of you know me. I'm Jane Goodwin, chairman of the Sarasota County School Board, and occasions like this, it's my pleasure to be able to work with such great partners in our community and our school district, and we want to welcome you all here and thank you for coming today. The Suncoast Workforce Career Center at Sarasota County Technical Institute is truly a wonderful thing, and we're all very happy to have made this come true because it's convenient and it's helpful to our students and helping us to make sure that we are training students to get jobs in the workforce today and in the future. Along with me today is our Vice Chair Shirley Brown of the school board and Mrs. Caroline Zucker, board member. If I've missed any other officials, oh, I'm sorry, and Frank Kovach, board member. I can't read, Frank. The Sarasota County School District, the Suncoast Workforce, and SCTI have worked together for many years to help ensure Sarasota County has a well-educated, well-trained workforce that is prepared to meet the needs of today's employers. We recognize that our organizations working with the Greater Sarasota Chamber of Commerce, public and private employers, and many other groups and individuals have accomplished a great deal. We also acknowledge that we can do more, and we will do more, to develop the skills students need to compete and excel in today's job market, to help them discover opportunities to use those skills, and to match those skills and opportunities with the needs of Sarasota County employers. An example of that took place last fall when Career Edge did a study of manufacturers and produced a skill gap study showing that there are a number of applicants for local entry-level manufacturing jobs that didn't have the correct skills that were needed, and particularly machinist as an example. With the quick action of Dr. Todd Bowden, Sarasota County, the EDC, the Manufacturers Association, the Chamber, and others, we were able to start planning for August of 2013 when we open our new building next door to, in fact, have a machinist training center there for probably hiring out a possibility of 100 machinists in the next 5 years. That's pretty exciting. Today's launch of the Career Center is another important milestone in this journey, so thank you for being here to help us celebrate. In a moment, Superintendent of Schools Lori White will expand on that vision. But first, please stand for the presentation of colors by the Riverview High School Army JROTC Color Guard and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The pledge will be led by Marcia Meerman, a student in the Practical Nursing Program here at SCTI.
March time. March. Colors. All. Order. Colors. Left. Base. Carry. Colors. Colors. Salute.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Colors. Order. Colors. Right. Base. Carry. Colors. Forward. March.
Thank you for Riverview High School Army JROTC and Marcia. Thank you for leading us in the pledge. I'm Lori White, Superintendent of Sarasota County Schools. And as you can imagine, superintendents and school board members get invited to a lot of ceremonial shovels at groundbreakings and big giant scissors at ribbon cuttings, and actually quite a few of those recently because of some of our renovations that are occurring across our district. But you know, that's the real easy part. All the heavy lifting has come before. All the great work has certainly come before, but it's a time for us to celebrate that great work. Hard work that's been done by job seekers, employers, and the many, many organizations that bring them together are well underway already at Suncoast Workforce Career Center here at SCTI. Because this facility had what we call a soft opening February 4th, and they began to do that good work right away, connecting a network of employers who know that SCTI works closely with Suncoast Workforce to ensure that the specific skills they need in their employees are being developed right here. That's exciting. The partnership was always in place, but the new Career Center satellite office right here on this campus means that it's one-stop shopping for students who earn their certificates in a wide range of industries and professions. 2 years ago, we dedicated this section of SCTI as part of the multi-phase reconstruction. A huge investment of the school board and the community on what we know and value, that education includes that career technical aspect for both our high school students and our adults. The facilities include classroom space for programs such as culinary arts, cosmetology, digital design, and video production, childcare, healthcare, business technology, and so many other career programs. Manufacturing is soon to be on board also. Students in the commercial foods and culinary arts programs get hands-on experience by working at the school's Bistro 502, a full-service restaurant open to all of you. Students in the cosmetology program offer the cutting-edge salon that you see right here, next door to the new Career Center that we're dedicating today. Students in other programs learn video production in the new Education Channel TV studio and assist with surgery, very interesting to see, on realistic human simulators. The next phase of the SCTI rebuild, scheduled to open in August 2013, will include new classrooms and labs for automotive service technology, marine service technology, adult general education, adults with disability program, and the adult and community enrichment program. When the entire project is completed, this 63-acre campus will include 5 new buildings with 344,000 square feet of space. And I want you to think about what was, and remember those old, dilapidated-looking buildings. And that kind of was showing also how we value this very critical piece of our educational program, and see what we have today. It's all part of the commitment shared by everyone here to giving students of all ages the tools they need to succeed, whether they go on to college or get additional training or enter the workforce. So congratulations to all of us, everyone who has helped make the Suncoast Workforce Career Center at SCTI a reality. And congratulations especially to the students who already are using it to launch or continue their careers. And now to tell us a little bit more about the Career Center that found a home here at SCTI and what it means for today's students and tomorrow's graduates, please welcome the Executive Director now, not only of SCTI, thanks to a little reorganization, but we're using this individual's skills for our entire district, career, technical, and adult education, Dr. Todd Bowden.
Let me first extend my thanks to you for your attendance here today, and I rarely miss an opportunity to thank our school board and our superintendent for the investment that they've made in workforce education. I learned a long time ago to not follow people by their words, but by their actions, and more importantly, where people spend their money is what they value. You certainly cannot come on this campus and get the feel that workforce is anything but highly valued in our school district, and I wish to thank our board and our superintendent for their investment. What a great place to come to work every day. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how we arrived at this morning's ceremony. SCTI is accredited by the Council on Occupational Education, and unlike K-12 sites, there are different measures in which we evaluate technical centers. And those three measures are completion, placement, and licensure. Of the students that enter a program, how many of those students complete the program? That's our placement. How many of those students obtain employment in their field placement? And those that have state licensure exams, how do they fare on those exams? And so you can compare institutions from across the country based on their completion, placement, and licensure. From a total quality perspective, we continue to evaluate our operations, and we started to focus in on placement. We began that process internally in regards to what could we do in a down economy to help our students transition to the workforce. And I have to tell you, we didn't immediately come to this idea of inviting the workforce board onto our campus. We went through a process in which we looked at our placement. We looked at our process for doing placement. We even got as far as writing a couple job descriptions of what would it look like if we hired a guidance counselor or a placement specialist to assist us with placement. And then it dawned on me one day that, well, there's people who do that for a living and that you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. So I started to gather my thoughts, worked up the courage, and I said, I'm going to go talk to Mary Helen about seeing if they would be willing to work with us. And fortunate for me, she came out to a fair that we had highlighting all of our programs. And I knew we had these spaces here. This building was designed specifically to encourage interaction from the public in certain spaces and to secure other areas. So I've got my sales pitch. I'm ready to go. And I get about 5-10 words into it. She says, well, you know, we used to do that. Would you be interested in doing that again? And I said, absolutely. I didn't even get to make my sales pitch. She was such a willing partner. In less than 2 weeks, we gathered in this space on a folding table, a couple chairs, and we started to hash out that idea. And I got to tell you, good ideas aren't hard to implement when you get the right people in the room. That conversation was June of last year. Yeah. And here we stand in March with a functioning career center. It's just a real testament to what happens when, number one, it's an idea that appeals to not only to the public, but to the individual organizations. There's a willingness of organizations to work together. There's a recognition that each organization has a strength to bring to the table. I'll stand by our technical education. I'll put it up to any institution in the country. But we're not a placement agency. But we have that strength. There's an agency in our community. And we said, why don't we do what we do best? And why don't you come onto our campus and do what you do best for our students in this community? And it just kind of fell together like it was meant to be. So I'm so excited to be here. I think it really is a game changer for our students, not only at placement, but to have a presence from the workforce board to help our students determine what programs to go into, what opportunities there are for funding and support while they complete that training. So I just want to thank you for your support and taking that little idea and running with it, and here we are today. I'd like to introduce to you the chair of the Workforce Board. Dale Bolrath is the chair over there. He's the president and owner of TRC Staffing Services. It's franchises in Sarasota, Manatee, and Hillsborough County. And they were selected as franchises of the year in 1999, 2004, and 2009. He has a bachelor's in business administration from Malone University and holds a master of theology from the Dallas Theological Seminary in Dallas. Please join me in welcoming the chair of the Suncoast Workforce Board, an all-around good guy, Dale Bolrath.
Thanks so much for the privilege of being here today. It was several years ago. I was part of the groundbreaking ceremony in the building just to the north and continue to watch the metamorphosis taking place here. And what a privilege today to sit here and see this incredible campus and the value you put on training our young people. Obviously, we are thrilled in the Suncoast workforce to have this partnership with the Sarasota County School System and SCTI. We're convinced that this is absolutely a win-win, maybe something we should have thought about years ago, but here we are, and we're going to be in this great adventure of helping the young people in our community. And we feel like we know that the Suncoast workforce is going to be able to avail its great resources, far too many to ever number. But we're going to be able to help students, and we already are, in terms of accessing their skills, doing all the computer testing. We'll be able to help them to build their resume so it makes sense and is professional. We'll help them counsel in terms of going out in interviews, the kind of questions they'll be asked, the kind of responses that are appropriate, the fact that they ought to arrive 5 to 10 minutes early, not wear a baseball hat, and leave their phone in the car. But there will be many other ways that we'll be able to help them, prepare them for this. But also we'll be able to communicate the great opportunities in our community. Most students aren't aware of the business sectors we have here. They may know some about the tourist industry, but they may not know about banking and accounting and finance, the health industry that continues to grow, and most of all, maybe they're totally ignorant of the great manufacturing community we have that continues to thrive and grow, that offers great career opportunities, high-paid, skilled, highly clean, great career paths, etc. So we hope to be able to communicate this and be able to show them the great opportunities we have. They don't have to move out of the area. They can stay right here. They can avail themselves. We'll also be able to share in terms of what's required. What are these businesses asking of their applicants? What kind of educational background? What kind of training do they need? So we can help guide them too. We can also share about compensation. What kind of money would they tend to receive in terms of as a started employee? What could they expect 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? Was this a livable wage? Is this something they feel like could really support them and their family? But also we can share with them potential current opportunities in terms of companies that do training while students are in school, maybe intern programs. But also because we work with literally hundreds and hundreds of employers in the area, we can also share what current jobs are open. And also, what are the trends? If they prepare for an industry, a job, will that job be there when they graduate? Will it be 10, 15 years down the road? And as best we can tell, we can guide them in the process so they'll make good decisions and be able to have a livable income. I think the benefits are immense for a lot of folks. Obviously, for our students, we think that we can help maximize their educational background, their experience, their talents, their motivations, their desires to end up in the workforce in something meaningful to them and gives them a long career path. Obviously, for the businesses, it's going to be a great resource too. It's kind of counterintuitive to think that in times of high unemployment, businesses are still struggling for employees. And it's not that there aren't bodies out there, but it's that skill gap we talked about, that they don't have the skills necessary to fill the jobs that are open. And this program, what's happening here, will help assure that's addressed. That companies not only stay in Sarasota, but also grow and add more employees. And obviously, when these things happen, there's great benefits to the community itself. So that's why we believe that this is truly a win-win. At this point, I'd like to introduce Ted Ehrlichman. Ted is the COO, Chief Operating Officer of the Suncoast workforce. He's been with us since 2009 and doing a great job. His background is he was Vice President, Head of Marketing for David C. Cook Publishing in Colorado Springs. Prior to that, he had a Cornerstone Financial Enterprise as a partnership. Ted graduated from Carnegie Mellon with a BS, and then he has an MBA from Northwestern University. And as my friend, here, Ted.
You can see why we're blessed to have Dale as our chairman, and yes, he's an all-around good guy. Thank you, Dale, for that. And thank you for all the comments. I really appreciate it. They're heartfelt. I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful to see the Suncoast workforce staff out here among the participants as well, because that's where obviously the mission really hits kind of the the rubber hits the road. We start as many meetings as we can, and sometimes we start our board meetings with sort of a recitation of our mission, because it's simple, clear, and memorable. Recruit, train, and retain talent. And if you unpack that, there are a lot of aspects to that, a lot of elements to that, but I think we're seeing a lot of them intersect right here today. And it kind of reminds me that if you haven't taken the tour of our facilities yet, it won't take you, you don't have to plan for an hour or two. These are actually a fairly small, tight little office space here that you're going to see. But when you get in there, look far beyond the walls, because it is symbolic of a much, much greater purpose and mission. And it's a very small space that can leverage a great deal. Back on that recruit, train, and retain talent, the way to do that is to reach out. The Workforce Board is a connector, but the communities, Manatee, Sarasota, own the workforce and own the solution, the talent supply chain, and they own making sure that our businesses and our employers are well equipped and that our job seekers are well equipped, starting from the beginnings of parents and schools all the way through college for those who go to college, and for technical school for those who attend. So we really are grateful. I wanted to reflect on one other thing that Todd said, and that is that when this vision got turned into action, it actually was relatively quickly. And I think that's very notable. It happened not only quickly, but it sets a great model for others in the region. And I think we'll see more of this sort of outreach and ownership of the workforce. So thank you to all of you. I also want to, of course, extend a special thank you to the school board, to Dr. Bout, to everyone involved in this project, and to Mary Helen, because I would also echo what Todd said. Mary Helen was gently nudging us along, and some days weren't as gently as some other days. And when it came to the opening, this has been a passion. Her passion is reaching out and reaching across communities, and I think that's why she's been effective for these years. So thank you to Mary Helen. My official script, I don't know if there's anything else I missed, but I think that's it, other than to introduce Mr. Steve Cuellar. Steve, I really appreciate, he has been such an active supporter of workforce and workforce development, and he's become a good friend. But he's certainly a friend of the workforce, and I think he's going to handle things from here.
You bet.
All right.
Thank you much, Ted. Okay, I'll dispense with it's a Chamber of Commerce Day. It's a bit cool, but beautiful in sun. What a pleasure to be here with two of my most favorite organizations, our high caliber school board and its great leadership here, and Suncoast Workforce, where I've had the pleasure and honor of being on the board a number of years. Think of this as a connection. Connect, the Coalition for Education and Training across the Suncoast area. That's what we're moving towards. I just came from a meeting at the Economic Development Corporation. We're planning our inter-city best practice visit to Nashville, Tennessee, that has an initiative called Alignment Nashville. And last year I went to Charleston in part because we looked at their Cradle to Career, where the whole community came together and looked at all the way from prenatal care and preschool, pre-K, up through what they call grade 20 in terms of finishing high school, going into apprenticeship trainings, postgraduate or post-secondary occupations, adult retraining. The community comes together and sings off one sheet. And what a better example here than these two great organizations coming together to do that. I think in a few years we're going to have community leadership teams coming here to Sarasota and Manatee and looking at what we're doing in terms of connecting education and training and aligning for the best for our economy, to create good jobs, and for people getting good work that will sustain them and their families. With that, my colleague Morgan Gerhardt is here with official Chamber of Commerce scissors that are large and actually do cut. And
can you present this to them as well to bring up Suncoast?
I'll read this, and Morgan will need a helper at one end, and we'll get photographs of this event. This is a certificate of recognition. The certificate proudly presented on March 7th, 2013 to Suncoast Workforce at SCTI. In honor of your commitment to the greater Sarasota and Manatee business community by creating new opportunities for expanded growth, job creation, and the addition of valuable customer-centered services that will benefit all residents and the employers that are members of the Chamber. Our organization salutes you on your achievements. Please give everybody that made this happen another round, and we'll commemorate it with a ribbon cutting. Do we have a photographer? We have
How's that going? It is. Is it paused? There we go. That's so good. Oh, great.
Take yourself with you.
That's great.
Okay.
Turn sideways to your shoulders like in a crowded football stadium.
I want everybody to come up to the ribbon.
We get closer together.
And gentlemen, come in towards the middle, please. And I will. Do I have somebody help it with you? I think somebody should. Yeah. They're heavy. Okay.
She needs to stand up.
I think it's a technical process, Tom.
Okay.
You gotta take the glasses off. I'm sorry. Glasses. Pictures. Taking a picture. Glasses. Yeah,
What a good
Not
looking
yet.
group.
Not yet.
What a good looking group.
I'm going to do a couple of shots first, and then I'm going to count to 3, and on 3 you're going to cut.
See the signs of the instructions, right?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to keep some of those. I got the ribbon falling down. You got the ribbon falling down. You're good.
That's what I was saying. Somebody else to help
Oh,
with her.
Folks, as you're leaving, just wanted to say thank you for coming here. Appreciate your involvement, and watch us as we grow this thing, and it's going to be great. And thank you for your vote of confidence.